We have more volunteers than any of the other candidates. And that speaks volumes to really where we are in history right now. 51% of Americans identify as independents. And I actually think that number is going to go up quite a bit before November. I keep meeting people who tell me, oh, yes, that's right. I've been meaning to unaffiliate. And so there's so many positive signals. There was just a poll. I've been approached by Kennedy supporters really concerned about our polling because some of the big ABC, Disney owned polling companies report that we're stuck at 5%. Well, let's also remember that these companies are using polls as a form of propaganda. There's many parts of evidence around that. I mean, ABC bought Nate Silver's polling company. Nate Silver is now this independent consultant out there, and he says, yeah, I will say that's not the most objective poll anymore. So the founder of that polling company by Nate Silver is now owned by ABC, which, as we know, is very much just an arm of the DNC. One poll that I did see that gave me great hope of objectivity was political polls on X the other day showed Kennedy at 35%. And the question was, if you were to vote, if the election was today, who would you vote for? And they listed Kennedy as one of three options. 35%. I mean, that's incredible. They had Kamala coming in at 12%, and this was after over 300,000 individuals responded to the poll. This is a really important indicator because these ex-political polls, they're out there publicly, they circulate, there's a time frame, they're very, very hard to game. So I would say that, look for those signals of truth. You have to dig, you have to be discerning, but they're out there. And those signals continue to tell us to stay in the game, to be in it, to win it. So it's been a pleasure to chat with you all today. Looking forward to hearing from Jonathan and Nick and Theo, hearing about our student outreach program. Now the fun begins. Ballot access was fun, but this is going to be even funner, more fun, excuse me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And I echo that now this is when the fun begins. And so I'd now like to welcome Nick Brana, our Director of Ballot Access and an advisor to Mr. Kennedy, who joined us last October after Bobby announced his independent run and hit the ground running with spreadsheet after spreadsheet after document after verifying petition forms with every Secretary of State. It's been a huge administrative lift. But Nick has organized the ballot access process in such a way that's allowed our volunteers to come in and collect signatures and know when to turn them in and where. And so Nick, I'd love it if you could update us. I know we have an exciting video to share, if you would like me to start with that.
Thanks, Bridget. I think I said early on, you have the title of campaign MVP and have maintained that ever since.
Here, let's
right in. Very excited for everybody to see our progress here.
Not sure if everybody can see that, so let's start from the beginning. Thanks, Nick. Again, a true testament to Nick's leadership and every single one of you that have collected signatures on the ground. We couldn't be more grateful for you. Back to you, Nick.
Thank you, Bridget, and thanks to Amaryllis and Nicole and everybody who's come before, Bobby, Jonathan, everybody who's going to speak, Orion, everybody who helped put this together, and most of all, everyone who has played a role in collecting signatures for this campaign. I am truly in awe of the collective organizing effort that it represents, going into every single state, just countless thousands of people across the country and countless thousands of hours devoted to collecting signatures everywhere. It is truly one of the most monumental organizing efforts this country has ever seen. And as Amaryllis said before, with 1 million people signing now, we crossed that threshold Tuesday night, with 1 million people having signed to put Bobby on the ballot. More people have signed for Bobby as a candidate in any party or any designation than any other candidate before in American history. Take that in, because that is so exciting, and it's, even now, it just feels amazing to say. So I wanted to give a little quick overview of where we are in terms of petitioning and in terms of ballot access as an independent campaign. This was the biggest week in ballot access that we have had in the campaign's time. We turned in 10 states. We completed petitioning in 8 more, and we were officially certified in 6. Alaska, Indiana, Nevada, and then 3 that we're announcing now for the first time with you all, even before we press release it: Colorado, Iowa, and Vermont. And so again, thank you all for all of the incredible work that has represented, that has went into every single one of those individual states, to have the certifications coming in and to see the electoral votes that Bobby and Nicole are now eligible for racking up is truly rewarding. And I also want to say a word about how we've done it, because we've done it in a way that has not just gotten us on the ballot and is getting on the ballot everywhere and putting us on track to be the first campaign in more than 30 years to have independent ballot access in every state, but we've done it in a way that has unified different political parties of different persuasions, of just regular Americans from across the country. And that includes the Reform Party of Florida, the American Independent Party in California, the Natural Law Party of Michigan, the Alliance Party in South Carolina, the Independent Party of Delaware, and of course, our very own We the People parties in Oregon and in Hawaii. And so it's been thrilling to be able to bring together this true collage and coalition of Americans from across the country to get us on the ballot and to power Bobby and Nicole to the White House and all of the incredible change that they represent. Handing it back to you, Bridget.
Thanks so much, Nick. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Paul Rossi. I don't know if we have him on the call today, but he's our senior ballot access attorney, and he has a perfect winning streak against DNC challenges. So, we're prepared and ready to fight these challenges as they arise. And our team is on top of it. And that's a true testament to Paul Rossi and Nick Brana. And so thank you so much to everyone who's been so supportive of our legal defense fund and has taken such concern and care for these petitions and challenges alike.
Bridget, I would be remiss if I didn't mention also We the People in North Carolina, which I left off the list, which Sierra and the volunteers there have done an amazing job of beating back that.
We're going to be answering them at the end for, if you have questions about ballot access or communications or our digital strategy, please go to kennedy24.com/questions and submit them now. Everybody who submits a question will